has two critical elements. Firstly, the idea of youth power. And the second is the idea of progressive India. So do youth have power or they don't have power? When we have power, we are conscious of that power. We have to be aware of that power, and when we are aware of that power, when we are conscious of that power, then that power awakens. You know the story from the Ramayana where Hanuman is standing there, that he has the power to cross the ocean and go to Lanka. So it requires Jambavan to come and tell him and to make him aware, to make him conscious of his own power. Similarly, when we say youth power, it is not whether our professors tell us or some politicians tell us or anybody or even Swami Vivekananda tells us that we have power. That has only 5% value. But when we become conscious of our own power, then everything starts happening. Conscious of what kind of power? Conscious of our physical power, yes. Youth have tremendous physical energy, much more and very obviously more than much older people. But they also have tremendous power of engaging with new ideas, being open to new ideas, absorbing new ideas and using those ideas to start changing the world. So we have to be conscious that we have the power to recognize and adapt and absorb new ideas which are shaping the world and to combine them perhaps with all that we have been taught so that something great and new comes within us. And it is also true that youth have to be conscious of their spiritual power. It is no accident that some of the greatest heroes like Nachiketa in the Upanishads were rather young people. So, consciousness of power is the first idea in this whole thing. And the second idea is the idea of progressive India. When we say progress, what do we mean by progress? If we ask our friends, if we ask our people around us, most of them will tell us that progress really means economic progress. It means getting a job is progress, getting a promotion is progress, trying to increase economic growth is progress, having new appliances is progress, but that's only one kind of progress. There is also a second kind of progress which is social progress, which is the progress in terms of equality, progress in terms of taking others with us, in terms of being able to work together to accomplish so many things. These are all social progress, and there is even a deeper kind of progress which is there, which is human progress. The progress that you make as an individual, how we become better human beings, how we become greater human beings. So when we say progressive India, it is not a progress of economic progress of India alone, but it is social progress and it also means human progress. So what are we really saying? The topic that we are talking about is how can we as youth, first of all, be conscious of our power, conscious of our own potential, conscious of our own ability to change things around us, and at the same time to recognize that there is a nation which has to be built on multiple lines, not just economic progress but also social and human progress, and the connection between the two. The connection between the two is effective power. That is, to be able to harness this new consciousness within us, this power within us. We have to be aware that I have this power and I am going to apply this for the welfare of the nation. So this is the basis for today, for this short presentation that I want to give you. This is a presentation in a sense that it tries to communicate and help you look at the idea of progressive India. It is important, after all, that if I want to harness my power, if I want to be energized, if I want to do something great, then I must have something great to work for. So let us, for us to understand today, what do we mean by this India that we want to really try to build? What is this progressive India that we want to build? So let me just start walking you through some of the ideas through the next few days, through the next 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, around all of these things. What do we mean by a progressive India? Yeah, 1 minute. We'll just wait for them to organize. Okay, so what do we mean by a progressive India? So first of all, progressive India means, at the core it means that each one of us in this room is not just a victim of life. Each one of us is not saying, oh, things are beyond my control. We are not saying they are victims of circumstances. We are self-enabled individuals. We are people who are in charge of our own destiny. If you are not in charge of yourself, we cannot reform ourselves, we cannot reform the country. So the first step in the whole thing is that every one of our 200, 300, 400 million youth and of this country, young people in this country have to be self-enabled individuals. They have to be people. What do we mean by self-enabled? That means somebody else is not coming and making you strong. Somebody else is not coming and enabling you. Somebody is not a tuition master for you in your life. You are your own teacher. You are your own creator of your own destiny. You are the person who is taking charge of your own development. And you are saying that I alone can change my own life. That idea has to come into each one of us. That is the first step of creating a new India. The second thing which happens in India is that when we are looking at, when we approach education, when we are approaching our college education, when we are approaching our education, further education that we take, that education is not for book learning alone. And I will go deeper into each idea. But it is not for book learning alone. It is for the development of our total personality. So can we actually take that education and transform it irrespective of how the education system is? We should not wait for the education system to reform. We should transform that education for our benefit. And what kind of benefit? Benefit in terms of becoming total personality. That also we will discuss. The third thing is we have to work together to solve problems. We have to work together to solve our own problems. We cannot wait for government to come and solve our problem. If tomorrow things are bad around in our community, we cannot wait and say, oh, government of Karnataka is not doing something. Government of India is not doing something. What are we doing? Can we change the circumstances? Swachh India, for example, Swachh Bharat is not something that government of India is giving. Swachh Bharat is something that we are creating. If we are talking about improved healthcare, it is not that the government of India, they may give us some infrastructure, but we are not waiting for government of India or waiting for somebody else to help us. Just like you should not wait in your education for your teachers to teach you. Teachers will teach you, but even before that, you have to develop that love for that subject and say, I want to study it. Then when you go to the class, you will absorb everything that the teacher said because you want it. Not because the teacher is forcing it on you. Similarly, we must take charge of our own development together. We have to change our families. We have to change and create happiness in our life. Nobody is going to gift us happiness. Nobody is going to come and write a check like a lottery and say, now you will have a happy life. That happy lives, those fulfilled lives have to be created by yourself. By each one of us, by ourselves. That is what has to be created. And fourth is even in terms of our workplace. When we go to work, We are not going and joining some government job only for a lifetime of comfort. Just some comfort seeking, oh, I have got a safe job now, just like my father, just like my grandfather, like so many people. Let me take a safe job and spend 30 years, retire and go away. Sorry, we are creators of a new India. And when we are creators of a new India, when we go to work, we have to see how the company itself, the organization itself is an agent of change. I am a bank manager. Just because I am a bank manager, one part of it may be a comfortable job, but bank manager means that he or she is going to also serve customers, is going to change the communities around them. If I am working in state government, I am working in some other place, how can I change things around me? That means working in a job doesn't mean salary, doesn't mean pays and just simply comfort. It means responsibility. It means trying to change the world around us, using the job as a platform. The job is not a house in which I will go or a kennel in which I will go and hide. It is actually a platform on which each one of us can become a mini Vivekananda. That is the idea behind Swami Vivekananda's statements for all of you. Now, keeping this in mind, let us go to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Let us take the first one. How are we as collectives, how are we as communities, how are we going to solve our own problems? And I am not talking about collectives only in community terms. I find in so many organizations, so many institutions, what is there? First of all, you can see the first symptom in grey is groupism, casteism, some form of ism where we say we are one group, you are another group. So instead of sharing a common purpose, instead of sharing a common goal, all that we are interested is in our little groupings and trying to politics with each other and to kind of work with each other. That has to be destroyed if we want to live Swami Vivekananda's ideas. Number two, we have to leave out this idea that I am an individual and I have to be given all importance. The other problem in our country is every individual feels in the organization that he or she should get maximum importance. We cannot say that we will obey what is needed by the entire institution. Let us work together with others. I will give in, let others give in, let us together work. It is otherwise each one's ego, each one's individuality comes in the way. So we have to throw that out. And we have to start saying that we are all working together. You notice that diagram. What is that diagram saying? That diagram is showing different people all interconnected with single lines. That means teamwork, collaboration. Now, do you think that this is only ideas which are going on in Mysore University Hall and some people are coming, monks are there, we are talking about Swami Vivekananda, so we are talking about it? No. I will suggest that you go to the internet. You pull out today the future of work. You pull out articles on that. You Google future of work and you look at what is World Economic Forum is saying. You see what Deloitte is saying. See what PricewaterhouseCoopers is saying all over the world. They are saying the same thing. They are saying today the world wants individuals who can work together in teams, who are agile corporations. What does agile corporation? TCS, for example, is investing lakhs and crores of rupees in saying that people have to learn to work together, especially in India. Why? Because they have come from an environment where they don't know how to work with each other. So the first and the earlier each one of us learns to work with each other, learns to collaborate, a simple project you are doing, work with each other and try to come out with common goals, common purposes, sharing responsibility. That idea when it comes. And number two, not waiting for others to come and solve our problems. Not waiting for somebody to give me instructions. If tomorrow a teacher gives you a project, don't wait for the teacher to come and say, this is how I should do it. Figure it out yourself. Say, I will find out the answer. We will find out the answer. If tomorrow in your college there is a small problem, solve it together. Try to go to the teachers and say, can we solve it together? Can we take up this project? Don't wait for a teacher to direct you. The more you take charge of your destiny, the closer you will come to Swami Vivekananda. The further you are waiting for others to guide you, waiting with a little finger like a child, waiting for others to lead you by the hand, the further away you are from Swami Vivekananda. So this idea has to be there. First, teamwork, collaboration, obedience, shared purpose. This is the first kind of message that we have to take with us if we want to build a progressive India. The second thing, let us look at our companies themselves. All of you will be working in organizations. Look at that mechanistic behavior. That's from a famous film called Modern Times of Charlie Chaplin, where he shows how in a factory people work mindlessly from morning to night, just doing a hard day's work. This is still going on in parts of the world where people are just working tired out. That world is passing. There is a new world which is coming, a world full of knowledge work. A full world where we have to work with consciousness and work with intelligence. For example, automation. Can't you see when we go to the bank? Let me give you a very simple example. You take that same banking example. You go to a bank today, ATMs are there. There is apps. On apps you are able to go to a bank branch. You don't have to visit a bank branch. Now if people don't visit, customers don't visit much the bank branch, and if they are doing on ATM, what does it mean? It means that the branch banker, actually in many organizations they are losing jobs. For example, HDFC has removed 10,000 people. 10,000 people have been removed from their job. So that cozy bank job that we talk about is not so cozy anymore. They are actually removing people. Kotak Mahindra, all these banks are removing. Why? Because of automation, because of digitization. What does that mean? It means that we have to also become conscious and start thinking for oneself. But that is one part of the story. But also the other part of the story is the responsibility. If we join, it is not only comfort and without responsibility. You see that person in that sidecar. All of us want to be like that person in the sidecar, in that scooter. In the sidecar, he has to just sit. Somebody else is driving, he has to just sit and travel. This is what we want in our jobs. We think about ourselves, our life, our family. That is good. Nothing wrong with that. But along with that, think of the organization, think of the institution, think of society as a whole. That means Swami Vivekananda is asking us to expand ourselves. Expand from self to self plus organization. Self plus organization plus society. That kind of expansion is needed every day. And that is the second big thing we need for a progressive India. The third thing that we need is harmonious development through education. What is our focus of education today? Marks, marks, marks. Getting through entrance exams, coming first, coming second, coming third, coming last. This competitiveness. And the second thing is just acquiring degrees, acquiring courses, joining this course, that course, taking 4 more courses there. All this stuffing our head with knowledge. But what does Swami Vivekananda say? Digest that knowledge. Assimilate that knowledge. That means when we digest and assimilate that knowledge, we will become a complete human being. There we will have deep roots in our consciousness. We will have deep roots within ourselves. And along with that, we will give a lot of fruits to the world. If you want to give fruits to the world, you cannot give it through book knowledge. No amount of knowledge can help you give book fruits to the world. You will just simply be an intellectual who will go there and simply repeat ideas give quotations from 20 places and just repeat theory. We don't want such individuals. They are worthless for this country. If you want to build a progressive India, you digest that knowledge and you become complete human beings. Try to develop the total personality which is there. Take part in 20 things so that when you come out and you say, I'm a BA, I'm an MA, I'm a BSc, MSc, whatever you say, it is a real master of science, not a degree holder. Not a real bachelor of science, not simply a person who can just, spout some theory in an examination. Little of that, if it comes to us, you will see how we can develop a progressive India. Little of that in each one of you. Just imagine what you will do for this country. If one man, Swamiji, can have so much impact, even if all of us are 1/10,000th of him, how much impact each one of us can create. Just imagine that. One Abdul Kalam itself, people are quoting him, and just imagine how many Abdul Kalams can be sitting in this audience. Never forget, go back to the first statement I made. Be conscious that power is within us. Let me at this halfway through also say that point, that if you are conscious that you have that power within you, all this is possible. If you are not conscious that that power is within you, nothing is possible. This is all theory. So if it has to be practiced in your life, be conscious that that power is within you. You have it within you. Let us take the next idea. Who is that self-enabled individuals? What are we today? You go to any organization. You know what they talk about? Oh, they have very low self-esteem. No, sir, I can't do it. I cannot do this. Such a big challenge we can't take up. It is all too much for us. Or they will say, I have to meet my father's expectation, mother's expectation, uncle's expectation, so-and-so's people's expectation. We live in this door, this cage of expectations. When will we look at our own expectations of ourselves? One day you stop looking at others' expectation, take a piece of paper and write down what I expect of myself. Today you try that out. Just write down what I expect of myself. And whatever you expect of yourself, if you do, I assure you will be far greater than trying to meet other people's expectations. Because meeting other people's expectations, you'll be a slave of life. While meeting your own expectations, you'll be a creator of your destiny. Correct? And forget about seeking symbols. What is a car? A car, everyone knows that one small car and big car are the same. Everyone knows that the comfort is that. The car is a symbol, right? What is a symbol of? That I am very great. What is a big house? You need the same amount of house. It's just a symbol. So should you chase symbols or should you look at that small star inside that person. Should you be strong inside? Or should you be someone whom you can respect within? Or should you only be someone who's getting respect from outside? We see around us in newspapers, a man is respected today, he may even be chief minister of a state today, tomorrow he is nothing. The minute he is not chief minister, nobody cares for him. That means these external symbols come today, they go tomorrow. But when a person has got that inner strength, that inner capacity, it remains with them forever. So it is most important to develop that inner strength. And when you develop that inner strength, what will you call yourself? Call yourself a solution finder. Yes, there is a problem. Don't say, oh, there is a problem. Say, I am a solution finder. Let me find that solution. I am the creator of my destiny. I am the designer of my future. Don't wait for some career planning. You say that don't look for a job. Say, I will design my future. There is so many different schemes. Let me see what I can use to develop myself. I came to know, I was shocked that there are 12,000 scholarships which are given every year in so many of the states in India and only 2,000 go. 8,000, 10,000, nobody even knows about it. That means our students themselves don't know the schemes that are available for them to exploit their own and to leverage their own life. It just tells you how little we are designing our own lives. So you become designers of your future. Now this is really what we are. And now when you see these four things, this is what we mean when we say that youth power is an effective power for progressive India. So what is that progressive India? A progressive India is one where there is harmonious development of people, where we are not just having an education system which is churning out, book machines, or people who are cupboards, small little cupboards in their heads, which they take out into the world, where that cupboard is worthless. We don't want cupboards, we want solution finders. We want people who can change things. We want people who can solve their own problems, individually and collectively. We want people who are going to be looking at their own expectations and building themselves up in a strong way. We are looking at people who, when they go to an organization, are not only looking for some comfort and pay and prospects, but looking to how to make it become responsible for transforming the whole nation. This kind of thinking is what Swami Vivekananda wanted. We should take Swami Vivekananda's quotes, no doubt. But after taking those quotes, we should not repeat them outside. We should repeat those quotes inside us. Until you go on repeating a quote, if you go on saying, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached, outside you are just expending some just physical power. But when you say, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached, and you say it in your mind, morning to night, arise, awake, arise, awake, arise, awake. Who are you saying it to? You are saying it to yourself. And then it is Swami Vivekananda himself will talk to you within you. And he will say, arise awake, arise awake, arise awake. Don't wait for a speech from somebody to say, arise awake. Say it to yourself morning to night. Say it to yourself, arise awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Morning to night like a mantra. And you will see, you will arise. You will awake. And you will reach your goal, and you will become conscious of your destiny. And you will build a progressive India. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
This speech by dividing his topic into two ideas or elements, that is youth power and progressive India. He expanded it and made us to assimilate through his inspiring video presentations. Many thanks to you, sir. It was a scholarly speech. I deem it a great pleasure to invite our next speaker this morning, revered Swami Mangalanathanandaji Maharaj, Ramakrishna Ashrama Mysuru, Bengaluru, to speak on the topic, ಅಮೆರಿಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡುಬಂದ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ವಿವೇಕಾನಂದರ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ. ಈ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ಕುರಿತು ಮಾತನಾಡಲು ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯವರನ್ನು ಭಕ್ತಿಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ವಿನಂತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೇನೆ.